Recording.
All right, man. We are back for the best time of the week again. And man, this week of AEW was some good ass TV. I can't wait to talk about it. Lionel, what is everybody in line for? What do we got for him today?
Man, let me tell you. Y'all are in for a very good episode because this is part 2 of a 2-part special on this week's episode of Off the Top Rope.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you have not already, if you haven't seen our Revolution review, it was literally posted yesterday. So if you haven't looked at that, look at that. That's all of our thoughts, everything from what happened at Revolution. So definitely just make sure you watch that. Also, if you want to just hear what we have to talk about for Dynamite and Collision, this is the place. This is part 2. So thank you all for being here. And yeah, here we go. I would say that this was a great week of AEW.
Same here, man. Same here.
Yeah.
It was a pretty fantastic week. But you know what? You know what we got to do before we jump into it. We got to take care of a little business first.
The business. That's right. That's right. The business. I've been looking at this thing. I forgot about the business.
No, not the hurt business. The real business.
The real business is if y'all are not following us on following us on Blue Sky, you definitely should be. But they are on the screen right now. You'll be able to follow the podcast at TAGPW Podcast. You'll be able to follow me at Shikoku. You'll be able to follow Prophet at Prophet on Blue Sky. Make sure you're following all of us because we have a lot of things that we talk about. It's all three are a very good time. I think Prophet and I are gonna start switching off on the podcast channel. I'll probably hop on there Saturdays. Prophet will probably hop in there on Wednesdays, and we'll do our thing. Y'all can live tweet with us and do all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're following all of us on Blue Sky. Plus, if you are not already, and if you are not able to watch this on YouTube, please go over to Podbean and Spotify to where you can listen to this podcast, yesterday's podcast, and every other Off the Top Rope that we have done whenever you want. You can, while you're doing some cleaning, you can have us on the background talking those good graps, anything. Just make sure you go over there, follow us, like it, whatever 5 stars, whatever thing that you can to help us out. That would really support us. Prophet, tell them about the YouTube.
All right, guys. So, if you haven't already, I know a lot of you are not subscribed to the channel yet. So, let's fix that. Tap that subscribe button, hit the bell button. So, whenever we bring out that content, because let's be honest here, when we bring out content, you don't get just one, but you get 3 podcasts. I gotta reiterate, gotta keep telling you guys, you get the most. You get the most for that subscribe. So you get Off the Top Rope, which is the one you're watching now, talks about pro wrestling. You get the gaming one, which is the Command Grab, where we talk about all the games that we're playing at this time, and then you get the OVA, which we talk about anime. To fill out, our network, the Anime Games and Podcast Network. So, and also, if you like the video, also drop a like. And I know we're going to hit some buttons because I press buttons every week. I see them dislikes. I see you. And I see them likes too. So, hit the like button and comment. I know you guys got a lot of stuff. So, come on, comment. That's it. So, let's get to the show.
Man. All right. We, like we said earlier, if you haven't watched part 1 for our Revolution review, please go ahead and do that. Now we are going to be talking about Dynamite and Collision from this week, which were both very good shows in my opinion. What do you think, Prophet?
Yeah, I think they were both excellent shows. There was a lot. Yeah, I was writing the notes earlier today. I was like, man, there's a lot of story stuff going on right now on, not only Dynamite but Collision too. But like Dynamite was mostly, there was some wrestling matches, but there was a lot of story beats going on right now.
Oh yeah, like half the roster that was on the pay-per-views hurt, so
yeah,
they were like, you know what, pivot. We got other people, what more story stuff? Go.
Yeah, we're getting everybody in there, and man, there was a lot of setup. We're gonna get into it, but there was a few people mentioned more than once. They ain't up there yet, but they were mentioned more than once. So,
oh yeah,
that's interesting. And There was one thing I meant to talk about during our last episode. I might as well talk about it here. So, there was all the things from Queen of the Ring. Well, not Queen of the Ring, but the new movie that came out.
Yeah, Queen of the Ring. You're right.
Yeah, Queen of the Ring. So, and then there was this, fake discourse with, what's her name? Kamille. They were like, oh, Kamille should be on TV more. Kamille this, Kamille that. I'm like, yo, guys. I even had to say this on Blue Sky, man. I'm like, hey, guys. Kamille had her chance. And she failed miserably. Like, literally. Like, I don't see why you guys are like, all of a sudden Kamille fans, because you weren't before. She has the look, but she can't go more than 5 minutes. She didn't pass this Chris Statlander test, man. She got in there and stunk it up. And luckily it was against Chris Statlander, and Chris Statlander kind of saved it. But like 5 minutes in that match, she was gassed. And after that, it was pretty much a done deal. It was done. Right? And why? You don't need Kamille when you got Megan Bayne, which we're going to talk about a lot between the two episodes. Megan Bayne is what you guys are looking for. It ain't Kamille. So you guys are like, oh, she should be on TV. Yeah, okay. No, she should be far in the background, or maybe going to some other companies heavy. Because I'm just gonna say, like, I'm not gonna flat out say like it's gear or anything like that, but if it took your stamina down to you could only wrestle for 5 minutes versus you doing like 30 and 60-minute matches in other places in NWA, what happened? The gear takes your cardio like that. I don't know. Stop taking that gear. I don't know for that cut look, but I don't know. It's impeding your wrestling ability. You can't keep up with the AEW locker room. So you might as well go somewhere that's slower. That's all I can say.
I didn't even know there were people trying to clamor for Kamille right now. Like, I remember what everyone was saying a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted her to get away from Mercedes. Everyone wanted someone, a different heavy. Everyone wanted Megan Bayne to be the heavy. When we saw Kamille was doing squash matches. Everyone's like, okay, this is cool. Like you said, not only Chris Statlander, but she also didn't have a good match with Queen Aminata also.
No, not at all.
So the first that she wasn't fully in control and she wasn't going to be the one to just dominate, it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
That's why she's gone.
Those matches like completely fell apart. Like, and it was bad. Like, it was not, it's not good. And I don't mean to like make it into like a crapping on Kamille session. Like, it's far from my point. My point is, like, after all this time, like, because she showed up and then she talked to Jim Cornette, and he's like, oh, you should probably be on TV, be somewhere where you're on TV more. It's like, no, you couldn't be more wrong. Like, she had her chance. She was highlighted on TV. She has the look. No one can deny that. She has the look. But that wrestling ability ain't okay. The wrestling ability to be able to perform in AEW is not there. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. You got to be able to go more than 5 minutes in an AEW women's match, especially with the top tier women. I'm sorry. Either that, or you better get your win back in Ring of Honor off of real TV for some time. But she probably doesn't want to do that, so who knows, right? But with that, let's get on to the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let's get right into that AEW Dynamite.
So, AEW Dynamite, we opened up with Kenny Omega. He opened the show, and the main thing Kenny talks about when he got into the ring, he pretty much talks about his journey back, and that all he really wanted to do was be able to say, hey, I can get in the ring, I can try this wrestling thing again, I can try to do all this stuff, and that he never thought, he'd be able to get back fully, but not only that, hold a singles championship. And a little bit after that, he talks about that, Tony Khan was running the idea by him about the tournament. And he's like, yeah. He's like, because whoever holds this belt should be the best wrestler on the planet. So man, there's so many implications with this, and like he wanted to, so he thanked everybody, but he also thanked Takeshita for taking him back to that place. He had to go. He had to go deep. He had to dig deep to get that win, and and brought him back to that championship mentality. So he's like, whoever holds the international championship is going to be the best. They're gonna have to get through Kenny Omega. He's a gatekeeper now, and yeah. So like after that, actually the one thing he did, he says he wants to face the best. There's somebody else that said that in TNA that also shows up here tonight on that episode.
Mm-hmm.
He goes against the Beast Mortos. We'll get into that later. But he did that for the X Division. He did that with the X Division Championship. So it's kind of interesting. They kind of said the same things, and he happened to show up tonight. And so at the end, he was walking out, and as he was walking to the back, the ops came out, and him and Shibata had a stare down. And Kenny was like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool, that's cool. Maybe I'll meet you in the ring." And he walks to the back. Yeah, man, it was a good opening sequence to get us started for the show. What do you think, man?
I think this was a really good segment. It was nice to see Kenny out there talking, and there were things about people saying like the international championship was going to start being treated as like a second world championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great way to start with that is having Takeshita with it, right? Literally globetrotting with it, and then the next champion after that, after these like rumors come out, is Kenny Omega. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, that is definitely a second world championship, and immediately we get a tournament for it. So we're establishing the next challenger already. So I think they're doing a lot I think they're going to do a lot with the international championship. We actually on this episode we'll actually get to talk about the 8 people who were in the tournament and the 4 who are going to be like vying against Kenny. One of them is going to face Kenny at Dynasty. We'll have an idea this week, but we know who the match is. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes and how that shakes down.
yeah. So one thing I did take from that whole thing. So the announce team, right? They were talking about Kenny being the Grand Slam champion,
Mm-hmm.
and they talked about him winning the trios, the tag, world, and now the international championship.
Mm-hmm.
He still hasn't won 2 titles though, TNT and the Continental. So I'm not sure where they're basing the Grand Slam championship from.
I think they're just doing Grand Slam as like four titles. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I guess because AEW has so many men's championships, it's hard, right? Because usually if you're a Grand Slam, like Jay White, example of a Grand Slam champion in New Japan, right? He
Mm-hmm.
was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He was the IWGP International Champion. He won the Never Open Weight, and then he won. There's one more I'm forgetting, but you get my point. He called himself the first Grand Slam champion of New Japan, but that was all of the titles they had. But I guess they're using singles and tag, which I guess everyone does. So it is weird, but I guess Grand Slam just straight up means you've won 4 different titles. I guess instead of you've won the 4 titles that you can win, it's just you've won 4 different titles. So I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because it's like, wait, he didn't win those 2 specifically. Are they thinking about running at least one of those, like combining one of those titles or something like that, right?
It's possible.
Because it's like, okay, what about the Continental? Continental he hasn't held that yet, but he's probably going to challenge for it sooner or later. So it might be a combined title soon. And then what about the TNT? TNT Championship is its own thing, but he hasn't run for that either, or unless it's just doesn't count. I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. I was interested in that because it's like, wait, maybe they're going to consolidate some of those titles.
I don't think it's a thing that where like it doesn't count. I think it's just Kenny has won 4 different titles, and they're just saying that's a Grand Slam instead of just saying that Kenny has won 4 different singles titles. That is a Grand Slam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
So,
I do also think they are gonna. We talked about it on the podcast yesterday, right?
yep,
Where more than likely, like a very easy situation is putting Okada and Omega together in All In and doing a title combination. They can easily do that whenever they want.
yeah, because they're almost they're almost serving the same purpose now.
Pretty much the only difference is that the Continental has like a time limit on it, which you don't really need that. It will be good for the tournament, right? Continental Classic.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. They can definitely just change that. That's not that big of a deal.
So my thoughts on that is, here's me thinking of more ways to do the TNT title. Since the TV title is the TV championship, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And TV championships usually have time limits. Just give the TNT title a time limit.
I think it has one.
No, it doesn't.
It's like 20 minutes or TV time remaining.
For the TNT championship?
Yeah. I think it's exactly the same as the Continental, funny enough.
Oh, then the Continental is pointless.
Honestly, at this point, it kind of is, no matter what, right? Even if I'm wrong and the TNT Championship doesn't have a time limit, it's still, the Continental still is not in a good place right now. It's still kind of pointless.
It's just like, it's what is it? It's a tournament title. That's all it is. It's, I don't know. It's like a trophy. That's it.
That's really it. Yeah. There's nothing really special about it at this point now, right? Because, like, sure, you can defend it. Like, Okada defends it all the time. But, I mean, who really cares? Like, you're going by the tournament rules. Cool. You can just do that with the TNT Championship. And if you want to make the Continental Classic, just, you can call it
a TNT Classic. That's all you gotta call it.
Well, I think what they would do is that they would make the International Championship, that would be the one. I don't know what they would do, actually. I don't know what they could do is, like, it could be like the Continental Classic could be for the International Championship, it could be for the World Championship, it could be maybe it could be for TNT, it could be for whatever, right? But at this point, they can do whatever they want with the Continental Classic, but the Continental Championship could probably go away, and I don't think anyone would be like heartbroken that it's gone.
Yeah, you could do the Continental Classic and put any title on the line.
Yeah, you don't have a name. Just call it Continental Classic. The winner of this gets a chance at the International Championship. They don't call the G1 is not called the IWGP G1. It's just the G1, and the winner gets a chance at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm. Now, Speedball, don't do no stupid shit and put yourself in the tournament.
He's gonna win a Continental, or he's gonna win the International Championship, and they're gonna do another one of these tournaments, and he's gonna be in it. He's gonna be. If I can't get to the finals, I don't deserve to be champion. No, bro, you already are the champion. You can. Don't do what you did with the X Division, please.
Please don't do it, because you're gonna hear me make fun of you every week. That's what's gonna happen.
Like, you're working yourself way too hard for that,
man. So yeah, man. Like, I don't know, man. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Something's going to happen. So we're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
So this led into the Ops versus... Sorry, I called them local talent. They're not local talent. They had names. I just didn't scrub back to get the names. So sorry.
Victims.
Local talent for now. But this match lasted less than 5 minutes. It ended with Shibata getting the pin after a fucking vicious PK to the to one of the local talents that he pinned.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was nasty, man. And after this, we had Ricochet. So he says he's still on his quest for gold, and talked a little shit about Swerve, and says, you know what? Hey, Shibata, I know your history, I know all this stuff, but hey, you should just do yourself a favor and just give up. Give up, hand over that win to me so I could go on and win the international championship. That's all you got to do. To save yourself the embarrassment of getting beat by me, just give up. Don't even show up on Collision. So I was like, oh. that was a good promo by Ricochet. After this, we had the Revolution package, a video package. And it went through, kind of went through like all the highlights of Revolution. Quick highlights. They did this more than once throughout the night.
Yeah, they did.
Which is like AEW, just like the production stepped up a lot. But any thoughts on those two things before we move ahead?
One, Ops for Trios champions. I would love to see that. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see them all wrestle. Well, I lied. I want to see Samoa Joe do some more in the ring since being back. But either way, I want them to be trio champions. I don't care about anyone else. Like they are my trio champions for all things. In my mind, trio champions already.
Wait, already?
In my mind, yeah, it's already done.
Well, the way they're building them, yeah, because Adam Cole and crew took themselves out of it.
Yeah, they have a actually very interesting feud going on right now between them, which we'll talk about when we get there. But this is looking kind of spicy. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, they were Cole and Garcia were kind of doing low blows there.
Oh yeah,
Commentary.
and then FTR and Undisputed Kingdom doing their thing right now.
Mm-hmm. They won one.
Oh, we gonna get that. We can get that next match. That's when we get the heel turn.
Yep.
Officially. But yeah, ops for TNT for triple Jesus Christ. Ops for Shield championships. And Ricochet should just talk every week now. Like that's where I'm at this point. Ricochet is so good on the mic now. He's so good. He's so good talking. Just give him a mic every week.
Yeah, no, I don't see why we've already said this. He's improved vastly since leaving that other place. I'm not gonna say it because fuck it. It's vastly since leaving WWE. He's improved vastly.
Yeah,
his mic skills and all that has been top notch because he's been able to take a chance and do it. So, and he's doing something he believes in. So you could see that.
Yeah, it really works out well for him right now.
Yep, being the anime villain totally worked out for him. All right. So next up, we have they were talking to Swerve. It was after his match at Revolution, and they asked him if he knows when he wants to challenge for the AEW title. He's like, hey, you know what? I do. He's like at Revolution against Mox, and then Cope walks up and is like, hey. I don't know if you saw this, but I didn't lose. I wasn't the one that gave up. I wasn't the one that lost. It says, so like your match at Revolution, it might be against me instead. And if it's not against me, if it's against Mox, if you win against Mox, then I'm gonna see you anyway. I'm gonna try to jump to the front of the line and we're gonna fight anyway. So one way or another, we're going at it. And at the end, they did a little fist bump and Cope walked away and Swerve was like, I don't know. Swerve gave him that look as like, oh, you're in the sights now. I'm winning this championship and I'm gonna wreck your shit.
I think it's really interesting that I think what happened is at Revolution they had like that last thing that no one saw, right? The only people that saw were people in the arena where Cope and Swerve were talking, and they just basically redid it in the back, which I think is kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting to see where this dynamic is gonna go, because I think we all know that Cope's not winning on Wednesday.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think anyone thinks that Cope's winning on Wednesday. Maybe Cope thinks he is, but I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what Cope does, because I don't think Cope's gonna take any of this laying down. I think whatever happens next week, that's not gonna be the end of Cope with this world championship in the story with Moxley and with Swerve.
Right. And as I'm gonna go through this, he ain't the only one going for the world championship. There's a line of people now.
Mm-hmm. Finally,
like everybody's going for that shit now. So like right after this, we got Mox doing Mox things. He was he was talking about, hey, he had Cope on the brink. He had him, his eyes were glazed over, he was breathing hard, he couldn't turn his neck, he couldn't do anything. And he's pissed off that he didn't take him out when he had the chance, and that Christian Cage had the chance to jump in, but he's like, it didn't matter because he took him out anyway. But he's like, hey, make no mistake, I am not making the same mistake twice. I'm not going to underestimate Cope, even though he kept coming after I was beating him down. He's like, I'm not going to underestimate him this time, and this time I'm going to take him out. So that was a good one. It was pretty short, sweet from Mox.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next actual match, we have Hologram with Harley Graham and Hobbs against Brian Cage and Dralistico. This was a fun match. There was some good shit that happened in this match, though.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to it. So at the beginning of the match, it was Hobbs and Cage on the outside, Dralistico and Hologram on the inside. Hobbs was attacking Brian Cage early. They were going at it. Brian Cage eventually gets the upper hand, takes Hobbs down, and in the ring it's Dralistico and Hologram, and they were doing some fast paced stuff, but Dralistico he got, jeez, I forgot the damn words. Jesus Christ. So he got the upper hand of the exchange, and then he tags in Brian Cage. Like at one point, Dralistico was trying to pull off Hologram's mask, and then that's when he tagged in Brian Cage. So him and Brian Cage were about to go for a tag, and Hologram dumped them both outside the ring. Hologram goes and tries to do a dive. Brian Cage catches him mid-dive and suplexes him. I'm not giving this justice. You guys need to see that highlight. That shit was insane. Like, he literally caught him mid-air and suplexed him. And so, after that, I went to the commercial break. Hologram was on the outside for the whole commercial, getting his ass kicked. So, at one point, after the commercial break, Mortos was beating up Hologram, and Harley Graham jumped in front of him. Mortos was conflicted. He was confused, man. And then Harley started shaking her hips and doing a little dance, and Mortos was mesmerized. He couldn't do anything. Dralistico jumped down, slapped him out of it, and then threw Hologram and back in the ring. And then he hit this nasty crucifix bomb, and then throws Hologram back over to the rope. Hologram does like the Spanish fly thing, and then they're both laying in the ring. Hologram gets that hot tag to Hobbs. Hobbs gets in. Dralistico tries to hit him. Hobbs is like, "What are you doing?" And then Dralistico just turns around and tags in Brian Cage. And the Meat Mania begins. They started with the clothesline battle where they were trying to take each other down with clotheslines. Brian Cage is like, "Screw that." He does a few kicks to Hobbs. Hobbs retorts, runs back to the ropes, hits him with it was like the Vader clothesline where, he hits him with his chest and both arms, knocks down Brian Cage. And then, they're both going back and forth. And at one point in time, an insane feat of strength that happened. Cage does that outside, that thing where he does the suplex. He suplexes a person from the outside to the inside. He usually does that to small guys. No. He did that to Brian. He did that to Powerhouse Hobbs. Suplexed him from the outside of the ring to the inside. That was crazy. But as the match went on, Hobbs takes the match with reversing Dralistico. When Dralistico tries to do a tornado DDT, he reverses it into a spine buster and gets the win. And let's see, after the match, Archer and Mark Davis comes out, and they have a stare down with Hobbs, and they just kind of just leave. I was like, oh, okay. What did you think about that match, man?
I thought it was a really good match. It was really fun. I like the kind of randomness of this match too. Like we've seen the Don Callis family work with LFI before a little bit, so it was nice to see that kind of come back. And what was funny to me was the one thing, the hologram stuff with Mortos. We get more of that on Collision, which is going to be fun to talk about. And the other thing that was funny was the fact that Captain Collision was on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was interesting to me. Like he's expanding. Not on Collision no more. Not just on Collision anymore.
Yeah. He's on Dynamite, and he might be going there more often with the official tag team with him and Commander.
Yeah, the Lucha Stars.
Yeah, the Lucha Stars.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It was nice to see. AEW's been doing a really good job about keeping people hot consistently, specifically Harley and Hobbs. Like they are on TV every week. Every time there's a TV show, they are there, which is good. I wish they were doing this before, but it's nice to see now. It was a fun match.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think, man, Hobbs is just, that guy's just over, man. And not only him, Brian Cage, now that he's like showcasing all of his shit now, that guy is finally in the mix. He's finally well, everybody liked Brian Cage anyway, but he's finally on TV like a lot more ever since joining the Don Callis family. Same with Lance Archer.
Yeah, I do wonder though. I'm guessing this is just a stopgap, but I would like to see the Murder Machines go back at the Syndicate. Like I'm assuming that this is just a stopgap, and we're not just gonna completely like forget about this, but I need to see them go back at each other sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Don Callis family never forgets about shit. Don Callis ain't gonna forget.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go back at it at some point in time. They're gonna pick their spot though. And I think whenever they go back at it, they're about the only ones I could see taking the title from the Hurt Syndicate, to be honest.
I got my team that's gonna do it.
Well, them and FTR. Those are like the only two I could see.
Nah, man. Look, I'm gonna tell you the team that's gonna take it from the Syndicate. Are you ready? You're not gonna believe this.
Okay, come on. Hit me with it.
Going to be Leo Rush and Action Andretti.
It's gonna be the Koopa Troopers?
Crew.
Koopa Crew?
Yeah, the Crew. They're the next tag team champions. Mark my words, internet.
God.
And if it doesn't happen, just know that there was a change in Tony Khan's plans. If it doesn't happen, that's the reason why it doesn't happen. If it doesn't,
there was an error.
There was a pivot.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're going to talk about it on Collision. Oh God. But realistically, it's Murder Machines.
It's either there's three teams right now. Like realistically, Murder Machines, FTR, and Undisputed Kingdom. Those feel like the three teams that are like being built up right now to take the titles from the Syndicate. So I think for real, it's gonna be one of them. More than likely, it's probably gonna be. I'm guessing it will be. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be FTR. Actually, that's my guess.
Yeah, I can assume it's FTR, but out of those three, who I'd really want it to be is the Murder Machines.
Yeah, I can see that.
But speaking of the Hurt Syndicate, they were next up on. They had an interview with Renee. They were talking about, like one of the first things they were like is like, hey, because it was after pretty much after Revolution. Renee was asking them about their win and stuff. He's like, hey, Shelton Benjamin is like, all we want to know is who's next. And then you had this funny thing where MVP was listing off all the things they can do on vacation. They need to play hard. They need to take some time off, and then they could come back after a week and hurt more people. And Bobby Lashley's mentioning the gym, and he's like, hey, I said don't work. And at the end of it, it was pretty much that telling everybody, hey, the Hurt Syndicate isn't going to be there this week, but MVP is. We see it later on in the night why he's there, and yeah, it was a fun little segment. And Shelton Benjamin was like, hey, I'm still going to the gym though. At the end, you ain't gonna take that from me. And then after this, we had the Hollywood ending video package, which hey, it recapped everything that for the whole Toni Storm Mariah May rivalry, and it was great. It was pretty good. What are your thoughts on those segments? Sorry,
real quick, I want to give a shout out to Drop Mick Wrestling, because Drop Mick Wrestling, like right after the pay-per-view, dropped like I think it's like a 2.5 hour video that shows the whole story between Toni Storm and Mariah May. And Drop Mick videos is like one of my favorite like background noise wrestling things to do, because it's literally just segments and stuff like that that's edited in a really nice way to show the whole story. So I think I shouted them out before, but shout out to Drop Mick. That I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet, but I'm gonna assume it's as fantastic as like all their other ones. Segment wise, I think the main thing is the only thing I have to say about this is you can't take the gym away from Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. If you do, I don't think they know who they are. Like if they can't go to the gym for like a day, I don't know if they will be mentally well. So MVP, nice try, but yeah, you can't take away their gym time. You just can't.
They're not going to just hurt people if they don't go. They're going to murder somebody.
Exactly. That's keeping them regulated. So please do not stop them from going to the gym. That's it. I don't really have anything else for any of those segments, honestly.
Yeah, man. Well, you probably have something for this segment coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Toni Storm comes out, and man, she what can I say? She is like, I think right now, currently in all of wrestling, she's probably the best all around women's wrestler, and that's going from wrestling ability to promos. At promos, she's at the top. There's no one that can touch her.
Mm-hmm.
Show me who. No one in any place right now can touch Toni Storm. I don't. I don't believe it. I haven't seen it. I'll just say that I haven't seen it. Right. As far as promo ability goes, she's top notch.
Mm-hmm.
She does it here. She cuts the promo about the Hollywood ending, and she said it took a chunk of her heart, but she looks down at that title, and it was all worth it. And then she said some interesting stuff. She said now it's time for a new beginning, and she was praising the back, the whole women's locker room. First, she mentions that the men's world title is never seen because it's in a suitcase. Ooh, wonder who that's talking about, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then she then starts listing down some stuff. She's like, we have a forever champ. We have a belt collector. We have belt collectors. And, and then many, many other champions. So right there, she mentions Mercedes and Athena. Mercedes and Athena. Athena is starting to show up everywhere now. She shows up in the All In promo on Collision. But she being mentioned by, she's popping in and play. She hasn't even physically showed up, but she's popping in everywhere now. Guys better look out when Athena comes. And one of the phrases, and then she's like, hey, she's on to take on all comers. Is like, she's like, when you fight me, she's like, this phrase is kind of crazy. She's like, she says, she'll eat like a pig, lick like a giraffe, and then eat like a lion. And then after that, the promo, she ends the promo, drops the mic, and then Megan Bayne attacks her and appears right behind her. So I'm guessing she's the new challenger. I don't know who's the new challenger who's the new challenger. It seems like Megan Bayne's going to be but Megan Bayne's attacking everybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's on site with her. Man, I fucked up that phrase, but whatever. But anyways, yeah, man, I suggest don't take my word for it. Actually watch that promo. It was a pretty good promo. Like, actually, it was a fantastic promo. And yeah, what did you think about it?
Man, okay. We talked about it on the podcast that went up yesterday. But Athena is actively being the most built wrestler ever in AEW, the most hyped up wrestler ever right now. Right? Like, we've seen Athena on AEW before. Like, that's like, we've even seen Athena as Ring of Honor Women's Champion on AEW before. Like, a long time ago, but we have, right? But Athena is being treated right now like the boogeyman. Because we know that she has some stuff going on with Mercedes right now. Toni Storm actively calling her out also. Once Athena shows up, this entire women's division is going to change completely. And you thought it would already change with Megan Bayne attacking everybody, but no, it's changing completely.
Yeah, big
Also,
time.
also one more thing too.
Uh-huh.
Toni Storm right now is a top 3 talent in wrestling. Not, listen to what I say, a top 3 talent, not top 3 women's talent, top 3 talent. Like, she is one of the best in the world right now. She is one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet right now.
Yes.
Like you said, she is the most, probably the most well-rounded person on the entire AEW roster right now.
Yes.
Like, I can't think of one person that has promos and wrestling ability and storytelling ability on the exact same level as Toni Storm in AEW right now. I can't think of one.
No, like, I'll go even further. I'm about to get downvoted on this. But I don't think there's anyone in any company, period,
Honestly, yeah.
that can match Toni Storm right now.
Yeah. Toni Storm right now is AEW's world champion. That women's championship is the AEW championship. Like,
Yeah.
that is the world championship. Like, she even took shots at Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at this point, we all know that the Moxley story isn't working, so we've needed someone, right? And it probably helps a lot that the biggest story that we've had in wrestling so far was Toni Storm Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Yes.
So like by default, like top talent, one of the best in all of wrestling, and then we get Megan Bayne, who is going on the run of runs, destroying everybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be the dynasty match. I'm going to just flat out assume that's the dynasty match, and that's going to be a fun match to watch. And it's actually, you can't tell what's going to happen because you can see Toni Storm losing right here. You can. This is a very interesting way to go. Instead of giving her Toni someone that she could beat, give her this and keep her interesting. It's great.
Yeah, just give her this colossus that is coming out and just on site. Literally anybody and everybody's getting it on site. She does not care.
She completely destroyed Thunder Rosa on Collision.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like twice.
She broke her ribs and then beat her in the match an hour later.
Yeah, like she is. That's why I said my little thing that I had to say at the beginning. Megan Bayne is everything that you wanted Kamille to be, but Kamille can never be.
Yeah, you can't see Kamille doing what Megan Bayne's doing right now. That's probably what they brought her in for, but she can't. That's why you need a Megan Bayne. She's just right now she's playing her role fantastically, and I like how they added the her not selling for the chair shot as a thing now. Say that she's disrespectful. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love every bit of it.
Yeah, I think that feud's gonna go. To be honest, though, I don't. I think they're gonna, depending on which way it goes, because Megan Bayne is, like I said, she's killing everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
She still has her thing with stat. Now she has a thing with. Hold on, we'll get to that. She has a thing with somebody else that we'll mention like later on.
Mm-hmm.
She's going at everybody. So I could see her taking care of business over there first and then coming back to Toni Storm. Who knows? We shall see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We literally have no idea, and that's what's the nice part about that world title right now. We have no idea what's going on, and it's a good feeling that we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, man. But right after this is the part we all been waiting for. So come back, Mortos is in the ring, and then we're waiting for the wild card. Who's this wild card? Who the hell is it going to be? And the worst kept secret ever, it was Mike Bailey.
Yeah. They gave them the promo package, right? Like we saw the Mike Bailey promo package like a month ago. So
yeah,
as much as I was hopeful as it for being Josh Alexander, makes perfect sense that it was a Speedball.
Well, Josh Alexander showed up in Maple Leaf the other day, so he's keeping himself active.
Yeah, getting prepared.
But they pretty much ran back Mike Bailey versus Black Taurus in TNA. That's what this match was.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome then and it's awesome now. Yeah, I didn't write a whole lot of notes because this shit was crazy. It was just, both guys were going nuts. I do have some highlights though. So, start of the match, Speedball is kicking the shit out of Mortos' legs. But Mortos, he retaliates and lays into Mike Bailey and lays him out. Later on, Mike Bailey gets up, he does the switching kick thing, where he's doing the swift kicks, doing the switching kicks. And then he knocks out Mortos out of the ring. And then he does planchas. At one point, Mortos did like a corkscrew plancha outside of the ring. Mike Bailey, he also did what was it? He didn't do he missed his finisher off the top rope, but he did a standing version of it to Mortos before ending the match with the crescent kick. And that ended the match with him and Mortos. Like I said, there was a lot that happened in this match. I advise anyone to just watch this match because this is a super fun match. And if this is where we're headed as far as the quality of the wrestlers going into the international championship scene, because let's just face it, the international championship now is its own thing. It's its own scene. It's its own. There's its own set of guys now. Yeah, I can't wait.
It was the entire thing, the entire match. Speedball looked like $1,000,000 out there. Speedball was Speedball, right? Like,
Yep.
if you knew who Speedball Mike Bailey was before, this is who you're gonna get. Although the finish was different.
Yeah.
That kick looked nasty.
That is a hard kick to do too. I saw people saying, "Do you know how hard that is to do and land like consistently, like on the spot? Like it's ridiculous."
I mean, Bailey can do it, and that Mike Bailey will be that's a very good finish for them, for Speedball, for sure, right? Because
Yeah.
that there aren't many people in the world of wrestling that can land that, and it's
No.
gonna look impressive every time. And it was able to knock out Mortos, so that immediately establishes it as a threat, which is great.
Yeah, and they're probably going to save his other one, the flipping double knee.
Oh yeah, the Ultimate Weapon.
Yeah, the ultimate weapon. Wait, oh you that nerd.
Yeah, yeah,
I just thought of it right now.
yeah.
Oh, you nerd.
Speedball and his wife, they're both nerds. Speaking of which, Tony Khan, I know you listen to the podcast. I know you got someone listening to the podcast. Bring back Veda Scott. She would be great on the commentary team. Bring her back.
Yeah, I'll see why not.
Yeah. I'm not saying that for any other reason. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why it came up. But yeah, just
I don't know why it came up either.
no. Just bring her back. Like, Veda should have been on the commentary team somewhere. It might send a shockwave if you did it.
Oh, but maybe she's practicing in MLP at the moment.
It's possible. She still does commentary, but she does there. She does New Japan still with a Walker when they do US events. So Veda's open. Like, I'm pretty sure Veda would not say no to a weekly commentary gig on national TV.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Also, Tony, bring back Dark. God damn it. That's another thing.
At this point, Ring of Honor has become Luchador Dark. So
Man. So right after this, we had Christian Cage, and Christian Cage is pissed off at losing. He says, Renee, you're related to John Moxley, so I'm not going to talk to you. So leave. He just literally tells Renee to leave. And then, Christian then says the ref was incompetent because when he cashed in the title, he signed the contract for a one-on-one with Cope for the world championship, not a three-way.
I
was like, wait, that's not how this works, Christian.
they also announced it as a three-way, by the way. So, delusional heel Christian.
Oh no. There was one person that wasn't buying it, and he was looking him straight in the eye. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And it should have been one-on-one with him. And then Nick Wayne, the guy that I was talking about, saying like, "You're full of shit, dude." He said he interrupts and he says, "Hey, you're making excuses and you're lying to everybody, not only to us, but you're lying to the people too." And he tells him that if he would have actually stuck to the plan, he would be the champ, and he owes everybody in the family an explanation and an apology because he didn't bring the title. He didn't bring the title home. At that point, Christian snaps. He looked like he was calm for a second, but his lip was twitching. He was getting mad, and then he pushed Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne's mom got in the way, and he told Nick Wayne's mom, if she has anything to say, go ahead, say it to him, and she'll be back working at Waffle House serving people. And then he tells Nick Wayne that the next time he's still the uncrowned champ, and he's going to get his world heavyweight championship if it's the last thing he does. But if he challenges him again, it ain't going to go down nicely. They're going to be fighting if he has some shit to say to him again. Nick Wayne stood his ground, man. Nick Wayne was staring at him. He was like, "No." So we're seeing the patriarchy crumble.
You know something that's funny about this?
What's that?
I saw too many people on Blue Sky saying like, "Oh, this is coming out of nowhere. Why is Nick Wayne all of a sudden mad at Christian?" And this podcast we'll do what we always have to do. We will handhold you through this story. If you have not noticed, Christian has been a piece of shit to Nick Wayne, honestly, since a little before super bad Kip Sabian showed up in there and became part of the patriarchy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, this has been building, and if y'all haven't noticed, since the op showed up, Christian let Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne like be sacrifices for weeks. Like there was even a point where Christian saw that they were getting beat up by the ops and then ran away and hid until they were done. So this is Nick Wayne being a man and saying, "Hey, fuck you. Why are you doing this? You're just a liar and you're a coward." So I can't wait to see how this breaks down because it's gonna be fun. And hopefully we don't get some Wheeler Yuta bullshit where he's re-brainwashed for the 5th time. But we'll see where that goes. I'm interested to see Christian Cage versus Nick Wayne.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I have my prediction what might happen. I think Killswitch is going to show up and fuck up Christian Cage because he was already in the process of doing it.
I hope so because I know he's been sick, so hopefully he's feeling better and he can come back soon.
Yep, I hope he comes back, and then when he does, he just turns on Christian Cage and just takes him out.
As he should. Killswitch Luchasaurus is also one of those people who's been brainwashed for too long. So let him make the turn. It works out.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great segment. Great segment with Christian Cage. But let's just say that's another person going for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's another hat in there. That world title scene is building up. So right after this, there was a little thing that showed like backstage at Revolution, and they caught up with MJF, and he punched a mirror. He got pissed off. He was talking to himself. He punched a mirror and ran everybody out. Told them to get out. Right after that, he comes to the ring, and he pretty much says, "Hey, he had the match won." Is what he was saying. He's like, "Hey, I had the match won, but Hangman took a cheap shot and then won the match." And then he was like, "Hey, Hangman, believe this, it's not over." And right after he says that, MVP comes out, and MVP is pretty much telling him, he's like, "Hey, everybody thought they were angry at each other, pissed at each other, and they embraced, and everybody's like, huh?" And then MVP tells the story of how they met 8 years ago, where he was driving MVP around for the only cost of him being able to ask questions about the business to MVP. And he talked about his some of the things he told MVP, like he was going to be world champ and things like that. And he's like, he did all that, but the only thing MVP is disappointed about is that he's whining to everybody right now about what happened to him, and he's not mad, he's not angry, he's not ready to hurt people instead. And MVP at that point pulls out the Hurt Syndicate card to give to MJF. And before that, MJF started talking about, well, he was the longest reigning AEW World Champion for 406 days. And MVP comes back at him. He says, "Was," emphasize on the word "was." And then he hands out the card again. MJF takes it. MVP leaves. And MJF was looking at the card and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes.
Man, I don't want MJF to join the syndicate. Like at all. Like not even a little bit.
He probably won't.
I will take a 5-foot sharp and rusty nail at the same time into both my eyes, then have MJF be part of the Hurt Syndicate. I need that look. I don't care how this sounds. I need that. I need to stay black. It just needs to stay black. Like I'm good on MJF being a part of that. Would he fit in? Yeah, for sure. Like yeah, he would fit whatever. But no. I don't want him in it. I don't want him in it at all. So we'll see where this goes, but I'm good.
More than likely, he probably wouldn't.
That's the hope.
He would probably use them for something, and then he would piss off the whole syndicate, and then they would come.
You know, he can carry their bags. He can do that. Shine their boots. Nothing else. That's all I got. It was actually an interesting segment though. It was. I do wonder what's gonna go next. And this seems like that's the only reason why MVP showed up to the arena. Also, MJF, that man, that shield that he has around him is slipping because the way that he punched that mirror at Revolution, yeah, that facade is starting to slip a little bit. He came out acting like nothing happened on Dynamite, but realistically, it's slipping.
Well, that's what we'll talk about a little bit later with him. We'll just put it together with this. Mm-hmm. So a little later, Hangman is walking with Renee, and they run into Max, and he's pretty much like, hey Max, I see a little bit like there's a lot of stuff you were saying, but I don't believe you. Like, you tried to set me on fire, but I knew you wouldn't do it. I don't believe you at all. And you say you don't want anything to do with the fans, but that's not true either. He's like, I don't believe you at all. And Max is like, hey, you're willing to call my bluff. Keep doing it. He's like, next time, it'll probably happen. He's like, next time I get the chance to set you on fire, I probably will. But yeah, they had him and Hangman had an interesting back and forth with that segment. And yeah, he was pretty much saying, yo, that armor you guys coming off, everybody can see it. I can see it.
It's gonna be interesting to see. This might be MJF being interesting again because with the syndicate and with his mental state, I kind of want to see where it goes because he's definitely not like he's also trying to go for the world title, but he's definitely not. He's not mentally prepared right now. He's just not.
No. And that's part of what MVP said in his thing to MJF. He's like, you ain't pretty much. He's like, instead of being mad and whiny, why don't you hurt people? It's like, hey, why don't you get your mind right like you had it before?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what MVP was trying to tell him. But yeah, great, good stuff. So after this, you know what time it is. It's time for somebody to go one-on-one with the best wrestler alive.
Let's go, Max. He's the best wrestler alive.
Boy. He's going to have to start putting conditions on that shit.
Yeah.
This time, he's like, okay, who's my opponent? Bring him out. It was a pissed off Takeshita. Of all the people that come out of the back, I thought the first, 2 or 3 of these were bad. No, Takeshita, fresh off of that loss from Kenny Omega, he's pretty mad. Mm-hmm. So Max was like, hey, hold up, man. Maybe, see, you don't want to go one-on-one with the best wrestler alive because I'll beat you. I'll kill you in this ring. He's like, look, you're probably here to invite me to the Don Callis family, right? Yeah. See what Don Callis can do for the best wrestler alive, Max Caster. He's like, also, but you know what? Maybe he'll get me to the point where I can do what you couldn't do, and that's beat Kenny Omega. Yeah, he fucked up. And Takeshita reared back, hit him with the elbow, knocked him out. He pinned him, and then picked him up, and then did the Raging Fire, and then did the real pin and got the win. The match was like 30 seconds. Max got killed.
Takeshita could have pinned after that forearm, that elbow, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Because Max Caster did not move at all after that. Like he was dead weight. So, that's Takeshita wanting to hurt people right now because he is very upset that he lost his international championship.
Yeah, he's pissed. And that's like the worst thing you can get is just like, all right, I'm going to call you out. And it's the pissed off Takeshita. Yep, you're screwed. And so after this, we had the promo with Jericho. Jericho was talking, pretty much talking about what he did at Revolution to Bandito. I guess it's his brother, Gravity, if it's his kayfabe. I don't know which it is. But anyways, he talks about how he made hurt his family, made him cry, and he's like, I don't know how you come back from this. We know how it's going to go. Bandito's going to win that title. That's how he's coming back from it. Mm-hmm. So we have our next match of the night, which is Willow versus Penelope Ford. This was a solid, 8 to 10 minute match, but it was, I gotta say, it was like pretty much like 98% Willow. Penelope Ford almost got killed in there. Willow took control early, and she pretty much never let up. Penelope Ford did get some offense in. She got that, she got that nice stunner in. It tried to go for it twice. Willow caught her, pushed her to the ropes, did the pounce, and Willow got the win. At the end of the match, which is on site, Penelope Ford rolled out of the ring and then got a chair and hit Willow with it. Willow goes down. Stat comes out. She runs the ropes, does that, does a kind of like a drop kick. Penelope, and the chair hits Penelope Ford in the face. She, goes out of the ring. And as Chris Statlander is trying to pick up Willow to, get her up, Willow like pushes Chris Statlander off, asks what the hell she's doing. And Chris Statlander's telling her, "Hey, I was coming out to help you." In the ring, running at full speed, clotheslining both of them is Megan Bayne. Again, she is everywhere.
The threat of a
No one's safe. She just appears out of everywhere. It's like, what is that? Was it Yakuza 1 or Yakuza? Yeah, Yakuza 1.
Oh, Majima everywhere.
Majima everywhere.
Oh my god, yeah.
We're gonna say it's Megan Bayne everywhere.
Oh god, if someone's listening to this that has Photoshop skills, oh my god, I need someone to just take a screenshot of Majima everywhere from Kiwami from Yakuza 1 and just slap Megan Bayne's face on top of it. That's all you got to do. Like, that would be amazing.
She's just everywhere, just annihilating people, man. And yeah, she took out both of them with that clothesline and then picked up Chris Statlander and F5'd her. And yeah, that was the end of that one. That was some, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. Good follow-up, good lead until, like, another storyline in the women's division, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, man?
I think the entire segment was fantastic. We have a, like you already said, there's so many stories right now with the women's division in this match alone, right? We have Penelope and we have Megan Bayne that were working together. We have the stuff with Megan Bayne literally killing everybody. We have Willow and Stat on their friendship goals again. Hopefully, I understand why Willow does not trust Chris Statlander. I fully get it, but I cannot wait for them to hug it out at some point. Yeah, it's just right now the women's division, we've talked about it before. There's a video for it. The women's division right now is just on another level. They just need to be, we need more presentation for them. I would love to see them in the ring a lot more. But again, we've been asking for that now for years. So hopefully someone actually gets the memo and we get that. Because these stories are too good to just tell in like one ring segment in like 2 backstage segments.
Which leads to our next backstage segment.
Yep.
Renee with Mercedes Moné. And yeah, so Mercedes, she requested Billie Starks to be there. And, Billie Starks was there. Billie Starks pretty much tells Mercedes that, hey, they have some stuff in common. She's the youngest Ring of Honor. So she won the inaugural Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship at 19. And that, in the next week, she's going to be challenging Mercedes for her TBS title to become a champion in AEW. And Mercedes, laughs and, coughs because, her throat's all messed up. It says that Billie Starks is out of her league and that she's going to show her next week that there's a price to pay when you wrestle with Mercedes Moné. So this is the start of getting Athena into AEW.
Yeah, it's official now.
It's officially official. Let's see. Okay, so segment after segment. Next, we have Will Ospreay. He came out, and first thing he talked about was he was in trouble with his wife because he did that thing off the top of the cage after he told her he wouldn't. And the main thing he was talking about is that he's going to go for the AEW title, and he wants it at All In Texas. And the way he's going to do that is by entering the Owen Hart tournament. And he's going to take down anyone and everyone in that tournament. And he's like, if he's going to be fighting Moxley, well, if he's going to be fighting Swerve, you'll see him there. He's going to take him out. And if he's going to go against Mox, he's like, hey, you call yourself the king? Well, just remember there's an assassin on his way to take you out. So I thought that was there was more to this to that segment, but it was a lot of Osprey just like going off, talking the way Osprey does, telling Osprey stories. But it's a pretty good segment. Yeah, he's obviously banged up, like real banged up from the steel cage match. So yeah, he's first person that's the first entrant in the Owen. But you know what? I think we got a second entrant right here.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that, and then we got a conversation to have.
Yep. So Jay White, he pops up, and first he talks about Osprey going for the title, and then he's like, "Hey, after they're done protecting you, you and I should go one on one again, so the people can see who's the best, basically." And then he's like, "Hey, you guys are asking that question. If I hit Cope on purpose," he's like, "Of course not." He's like, "I hit him on accident." And at the very end of it, he's talking about how he was pissed that Swerve is the number one contender, and he's like, he's pretty much mad that everybody skipped over him to get that number one contendership. So he's like, no one's number one contender over me. So I think we're going to be seeing him. He might go after Swerve. He might enter that Owen Hart tournament to get that number one contendership. Maybe that final match is him. I can see that final match of the Owen being Jay White versus Osprey. So yeah, all right, let's talk.
Man, okay. First off, the main thing I want to say before I start rambling is this Owen Hart tournament needs to be the most stacked Owen tournament, honestly, on both men and women's side that we have ever seen. But specifically for the AEW championship, for the men's world championship, there are too many big players right now that are now free that want to go after the world championship, including someone like Jay White, who has been pushed aside now a couple of times because it was supposed to be him and Mox, right? Cope gets in the way. Now he can't be number one contender anyway, despite the fact that he's been getting beat up by the Death Rider for 2 months because now Swerve is number one contender, right? There are too many people in his way. Cope is in his way. Swerve, low key, MJF, Will Ospreay. There are a lot of people in his way. So this tournament needs to be the most heavy hitting, the most stacked Owen Hart tournament that they've ever done because they've been building this now for months. Since the Death Rider started doing Death Rider things, we've had so many people go after them. We need a Darby, we need a Orange Cassidy, we need the people we've talked about already, Osprey, Jay White, Hangman, MJF. It needs to be a very stacked tournament. We need a Christian, we need a Cope. Low key, Mox should be in there because Mox should not have the world championship going into All In. Mox should be in there also. There should be a stacked tournament. And if they're talking about it this early, it has to be stacked. It has to.
Yeah, and Osprey put his first, is the first name on there. It is not going to be no shitty tournament. I feel like it's going to be a bunch of heavy hitters.
It has to. If it's not a heavy hitter tournament, they have built up this story with the Death Riders for literally nothing. Because every main event player has been along with the Death Riders, including people like people that people want to be world champion, like Darby. Like Darby was also a thing, right? Like people want Darby world champion. He needs to be in here also. So he better be down from Everest by this point because he needs to be in there also. Because I need him to lose in the first round so we can just get that out of the way. But realistically, there are too many moving parts for this Owen to be like, and I say this with no offense. I say this with no offense to anyone, but this can't be just like, we can't have a Jeff Jarrett, a Mark Briscoe, a Beast Mortos. And again, no offense to anyone that I'm saying, but we have too many heavy hitters that have been going after the world championship that we shouldn't have. All these matches should not be like, oh, Osprey's gonna win this one because he's wrestling Mortos, or oh, Jay White's gonna win this match because he's wrestling Mark Briscoe. We can't do that. It has to be the top stars of the top stars, and if it's not, we have a problem.
I agree. Like this time, this Owen has to be like, we need the best of the best in there. We need to make it the best Owen Hart Cup that's that we've seen. You know.
Mm-hmm. Also, if we're gonna be honest, we're completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Jay White hit Cope on purpose. I know he didn't. I know it was like a dodge thing or whatever. It's still Jay White. Jay
Well,
White did that shit on purpose.
I'm going to tell you my theory right now
Uh-huh.
for next week. The way Jay White's acting now, Jay White's getting going back. He's reaching deep. He's going back to that. Actually, he's never not been a heel, but he's just going to be even more one. He's just going to be that Jay White we know. He's going to pick his spot and he's going to fuck Cope up during that title match next week against Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's going to be the main reason Cope loses. He's going to actually he's like, I'm just going to do it on purpose. He's going to wreck Cope
for sure, because again, he's been pushed back to the side too many times. He's been getting beat down by the Death Riders too many times to just be okay with it, because it's still Jay White. He definitely has been a face. I think he's just going to go back to being a heel pretty soon, though. Like, he's been a good guy. He's been trying to fight the good fight against the Death Riders, but it has not been working, like, at all. So we're going to see him convert back to the Switchblade that we know.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. That's all I really had. Didn't really have anything else on.
Let's see. We already talked about Cassidy and not Cassidy, Renee with Hangman. Okay, the last match I did not take notes, so it was Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy, I started and then I stopped because there was just a lot of stuff going on in this match. I recommend you guys watch it because it was a good match. Another great Hechicero match. Unfortunately, Hechicero lost again. We knew he was going to lose, but you know. But yeah, I think like this match was probably, I want to say it's the second best match on the card.
I can see that,
because I think the Hobbs hologram versus Cage and well, actually no, Speedball and Mortos.
Yeah, those are the only two choices, to be honest. Like, the other matches, like, they were cool, but we didn't have that many crazy matches this week on either show, honestly.
It was a lot of segments, man. Like, there was a lot of storytelling this week.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this match, Cassidy versus Hechicero, was fun. Hechicero, I need to see that match against him and like Zack Sabre Jr.
We got it. What show was that? Well, we got it pretty recently. It was a fantastic match. It was on New Japan somewhere. I forget what show it was now.
Oh, I'm gonna go back and watch it because, man, I love watching technical wrestlers. It's like my favorite thing.
It's so good.
And people that can do it really good, it's just amazing to watch. Like, he was trying against Orange Cassidy. I think Orange Cassidy leveled up because of his match against Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. grounded his ass. He couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Orange Cassidy was frustrating him. He was like, before that commercial break, Hechicero was like, rolled out of the ring and started yelling at fans because he was pissed off at Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy did some shit. Like, he had his hands in his pockets for a good like 3 or 4 minutes. Did a Hurricane Rana. He did a pin to Hechicero with his hands in his pockets. He didn't even use his hands. He rolled them up.
That's Orange Cassidy.
That was Orange Cassidy. He was ridiculous. But in the end, Orange Cassidy won. And at the very end of that, after Hechicero left the ring, well, actually immediately, Speedball Mike Bailey came out. And he was at the entrance and he did his thing. He did his little bow. He did his little pose thing. Yeah, that lines us up. That's 2 people for the 4-man for the international title. Well, not for the international title, for the chance to fight for the international title. So, yeah, Dynamite. Overall, Dynamite was good. It was a lot of story beats, a lot of storytelling going on. What did you think, man?
I thought it was a really good episode. Like I said, I've never been like the biggest fan of like this style of storytelling, right? Like, a lot of it was just a lot of it was set up, right? Because it needs to be. Because we said on yesterday's episode that this is the beginning, right? Like, this is a reset. Like there aren't really a lot of stories that have carried over from Revolution. So this is a week where people need to take a break because people are dying right now in AEW. But this was a week where we need to take a step back and really get stories going again. So I feel like we'll get a faster pace probably next week because we don't have that much time until Dynasty. So we'll get this picked up. But it's still a really good episode.
Yeah, it was a fun episode, but yeah, there was a lot of story that had to be told for to set up the next pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was good stuff. Dynamite was good, but you know what? I think Collision might have been better.
Oh yeah, Collision live from Las Vegas.
And I missed it.
Nah, man, it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Okay, for Collision, we start with how we always start. We get promos from a few people. All these promos are just to hype up the matches they're having tonight. We got one from Shibata. We got one from Ricochet in his Akatsuki shirt, weeb. We got one from FTR, and we got one from Undisputed Kingdom. After that, we go directly into our first match of the night, which low-key might have been the best match of the night, funny enough. Katsuyori Shibata versus Ricochet. This is now the third match for the International Championship scramble, whatever we're going to call it. This match was a very fun match. The story of this match basically is Ricochet was trying to do what he could to keep up with the striking. He did a little bit. It wasn't going to be able to keep up with Shibata. But whenever Ricochet got any kind of advantage, Shibata was able to shut him down until the end, where Ricochet had to use the ropes and cheat to get the pin on Shibata. It was a very good match. If you guys have not watched it, definitely feel free to. Like I said, I'm going to do summary style this week. So definitely, please just make sure you watch it if you haven't already. Prophet, what are your thoughts on the match?
That match was fun. It was one of those ones that you saw and you could have went either way. I still think Shibata is going to get a title shot anyway against Kamille at some point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, one, what comes of this four-man that's going to happen, and two, just how they're going to keep this up with the international title scene.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be the tricky part, right? Like, we need to see what happens after Dynasty. Because I think no matter what, I don't think Kenny's losing on his first defense. So we'll just have to see how this goes and how we're going to get a number one contender going forward when it comes to the international championship. This is an interesting way to do it, which I like. But we'll see. Then we got a video package talking about the winners from Dynamite that are going to be in the national tournament. Again, if you weren't here 5 minutes ago, Prophet already said who they are. It's Speedball Mike Bailey and Bitch Boy Orange Cassidy are the two. And now we have Ricochet. Right after this, we see the Murder Machines, who are on the show a lot this week, funny enough. They're beating up who look like their opponents for later in the night in the back. Mark Davis is kind of standing there. Both Cage and Land Toucher get in Mark's face saying, hey, you got to do this. You're part of the family. This is what we do. Hit him. And Mark Davis reluctantly took out the remaining two people of the four that they were beating up. So we're still getting that thing where Mark Davis doesn't seem like he wants to be here, but he is here. He doesn't have a choice. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that one. It was pretty simple. Do you have any thoughts on that at all?
Oh, no. It pretty much leads to what happens after.
Oh, yeah. Right after this, we had a promo segment with Toni Storm. Toni basically is calling out Megan Bayne. She's also telling stories about herself being in Vegas before, which was funny. But basically, she's saying, Megan, I see what you do when you attack me behind my back, but let's see what happens when you attack me when we fight face to face. And funny enough, we have a Megan Bayne match tonight against Thunder Rosa that we'll talk about a little bit later. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, we got to talk about Powerhouse Hobbs versus Griff Garrison. We haven't seen Griff Garrison in a while, and they're in a new faction, the Frat House. I don't know. I've been watching Ring of Honor lately. This might have been on Ring of Honor. I have not seen them. The faction, by the way, if you don't know, is Griff Garrison, Preston Vance, and Jack Jameson. A random group of people call themselves the Frat House. None of that matters because they're wrestling Hobbs, and Hobbs literally beat all of them up and hit the spine buster on Griff Garrison for the 1-2-3. Pretty quick, pretty easy. After the Frat House tried to want to jump Hobbs, but of course they weren't going to anyway, even if he didn't have help. But he had help from the Outrage. The Outrage came out for the save. They opposed. We had a good time, and that was that segment. Do you have any thoughts on the promo or the match?
Well, the match was pretty much Hobbs murders everybody. No, it was good. Interesting thing is on Ring of Honor, what's his name showed up. What was that? Man, I'm like losing who I was thinking of. The Dark Order showed up, and they're trying to get Preston Vance back.
Oh,
So we shall see.
we'll see how that goes. I don't think Preston's going back, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he does, he's probably not going to be the one in the mask again, or like 10, I guess it was -10 or whatever.
Yeah, no, he can't be 10 anymore. That's dead and gone.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see where that goes.
All right. Next up, we had a backstage interview with Lexi and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, we talked about a little bit earlier, but Thunder Rosa was talking about the disrespect that Mega Man has for the AEW Women's Locker Room and for the World Champion. Thunder Rosa said you can't do what you did to a World Champion, and that Thunder Rosa will teach her some respect. But did not matter because, of course, Megan Bayne came to attack Thunder Rosa in the back.
On site.
Like I'm pretty sure at this point, like Megan has like a GPS tracker on all the women, and she's just able to go find them wherever they are. And basically she beat up Thunder Rosa and broke her ribs. So later tonight, when we have a match, we're gonna see Thunder Rosa in bandages trying to take out Megan Bayne. And I'm gonna give you a spoiler now before I talk about the match. That did not happen. No one's taking out Megan Bayne right now.
No.
Right after, yeah, not at all. Not at all. Right after this, we had our final first round match for the International Championship Tournament. We had the Marks, the Battle of the Marks. Mark Briscoe versus Mark Davis. No matter what, we knew a Mark was going to win this. And a Mark did, just not the Mark that we wanted. This match was very hard-hitting, as expected. Mark Briscoe and Mark Davis are heavy-handed. We all know that. They beat the hell out of each other. There was a lot of strikes. There was a lot of chops. A lot of Briscoe stuff. Mark Davis is low-key starting to show out a little bit more, which is really nice. It would have been nice if he was able to get the win by himself, but of course he couldn't. Because Lance Archer came out on the ramp to distract, and right behind Mark Briscoe, before he was about to do the Froggy Bow, was Brian Cage, and he pushed Mark Briscoe off of the top rope into basically a Shining Wizard, and from there he hit that, I don't even know what he calls that pile driver. The pendulum pile driver, whatever he calls it. It looks sick as shit.
Yeah, that pile driver looks dope as hell.
Like he jumps on you, and you're holding him up just for him to pull you back down into a pile driver, like a snap pile driver. It looks disgusting. I love it so much.
He's a big ass dude doing it too.
Huge. So Mark Davis is starting to show. I've been on this podcast before. I've said how good Mark Davis was. Like we've talked about it before on this podcast. So now he's going to be able to start showing out. He gets his own storyline right now with the Don Callis family, because he doesn't want to be in the family, but they got some shit going on. So he has his own story right now. He is now in the 4-way for the International Championship to challenge Kenny. So we'll see how that goes. Do you have any thoughts on this match?
No, as usual, like Mark Briscoe, man, he's been having solid match after solid match. I don't think he has had like a bunch of bad ones or anything at all.
No, he's really come into his own since having to be forced to be a singles wrestler. Yeah. Like he's really coming to, like I said earlier, I said no disrespect to Mark Briscoe, but this Owen Hart just needs to be heavy hitters. As much as I love Mark Briscoe, he's going to be in the Continental Classic when it happens this year for sure. But we just need the people who have been circling around the world title to be in that, and that's all I'm saying. He's still a great wrestler.
Yeah, I agree.
So after that match, we got another Dynasty video package. They've been hyping up Dynasty, so we'll see how this goes. Right after this video package, we got a 2-on-4 handicap match. The Murder Machines are back for their third segment of the night. This time they're actually in a match, and they bring out their 4 victims. I don't know their names. They never said their names. I have no idea who they are. But yeah, I call them victims because they all died.
I think they're all from FSW.
I think they are. I couldn't tell who they were because sadly I don't watch as much FSW as I should. But
that's the messed up part, because it's literally right. Like for me, it's completely messed up because they're at the Silverton. They're literally right down the street from me.
Oh yeah, you can go anytime you want.
I could go like at any time, but I always forget.
We need to set up reminders because I wanna start going to FSW shows for sure. I mean, they'll probably have more offense than they did in this match because Lance Archer, Brian Cage completely murdered them, living up to the name Murder Machines. They were also in street clothes, by the way. Like they weren't even in their wrestling gear.
Yeah, and Brian Cage carried 2 of them out by himself.
Yeah, grown men.
Grown ass men. He just tossed them into the ring. They just rolled after he tossed them, and then Archer was just in the background, just killing the other 2. And yeah, they hit their finish on the guy, and it was over. He had no chance.
Yeah, it was done. It was done. Right after this match, they continued the beatdown, but Mark Briscoe and Powerhouse Hobbs come out separately to fight them off. So I don't know if this is going to be like the feud that we got right now, but like I said, I would definitely like the Murder Machines to go over to the Syndicate again. But we'll see. Right now, we have a stopgap. We'll see how this goes. They're going to need some more people, I'm guessing, because Mark Briscoe does not do 2-on-2 tag team matches anymore. He said it. I hope Tony Khan respects that, and we just let that go. We'll add some more people in here to see how that goes for a little bit. You have any other thoughts on this match in this segment?
No, I thought it was good.
All right. Our next 2, we have a video package and then an in-ring promo that we got to talk about. 2 promos actually. We had a video package talking about Swerve getting his #1 contendership for the AEW World Championship, and we got a little bit of the background again of Cope and Swerve talking in the background, in the back, talking about like they might have to wrestle each other for the World Championship. After this, Swerve comes out. Swerve was in Vegas. Crowd's freaking out. Swerve, he talks about a lot of things in this promo segment. He talks about Ricochet, saying that Ricochet is tough, and he literally ruptured his eardrum. But if he wants to fight again, he knows where to find him. He talks about what it takes to be a world champion. That's to be elite. You can be great and you can challenge for the world championship, but you have to be elite to win it. And he said that last year he was elite at Dynasty for 126 days, that he was the best. Then he talks about, which this is the sad part, he had to hype up the Cope and Moxley rematch, which more power to him. No one wants that match. No one wants that match. But he had to hype it up. Swerve did the best he could in the situation that he had. But yeah, he tried to hype that up. Then he starts talking shit about Moxley, saying that Moxley seems desperate, which Moxley kind of proved because he showed up out of nowhere and attacked Swerve with the crowbar and hits the stomp. It looks like Swerve like hit his head on the side where his ruptured ear is. So he was like in the ring, like writhing in pain. Moxley looks like a man possessed and then immediately leaves. So once he leaves, the cameras follow him out and he does a promo outside also, where he's saying like he is just frustrated. You can see it. Like he doesn't like the person that Cope has turned him into. And he said he's going to end Cope on Wednesday. So we will see how that goes. But these are the segments. Prophet, do you have any thoughts on any of these?
Yeah, I actually thought it was hilarious. Mox just came out and just hit him with the fucking crowbar.
Back of the knee, it was messed up.
Like, that escalated real quick. It was like, oh no, I'm not just gonna attack you. I'm gonna try to like break your knee with a crowbar. I'm attacking you with weapons. I'm not gonna try to fist fight you.
Desperation. That's what Swerve said, right? It's a man that reeks of desperation.
So this feud's gonna be pretty good. Pretty damn good. Depends on how long they do it. We shall see.
I think no matter what, this is gonna end at Dynasty. I think we're gonna get the same trap that we got last year with Swerve holding up the championship at Dynasty. And like we said on yesterday's episode, there might be a revolt if Swerve doesn't win that world champion. If Moxley is still the world champion that Monday after Dynasty, there might be a fan revolt.
Yeah, there might be. But here's the thing, man. I could see him walking out with it and losing it all in to Ospreay.
No. Moxley cannot. That's another what, Dynasty is the beginning of April. That's another 3 months. That can't happen. Moxley cannot be champion until July.
So if Swerve won, he would lose in July.
Maybe. Possible.
Not maybe, he would.
You think Ospreay's just gonna win it immediately at All In?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not fully sure on that yet. I don't think it's like a guarantee that Ospreay's gonna win at All In, because we've done this before where they've had the same people challenge for the championship twice. They have Adam Cole challenging Daniel Garcia for the championship, for the TNT championship twice. So it's I don't know, but
Well, the first match got interrupted, so
yeah,
that's different. Like Swerve beat Ospreay clean
yeah,
on the first match. Like I said, I could see Ospreay winning, and then him and Swerve have a thing going on for like the next like 3 or 4 months after that to get the final who is the winner. But also Swerve could win and they still do the same thing.
mm-hmm.
It could go either way, but I just do feel like if Ospreay gets there, I feel like this time Ospreay is going to win.
Honestly, all that matters to me is that whoever is on the side of Ospreay, if Ospreay gets there, is not Jon Moxley. That's all I care about. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Next up, we had a. They said that this was like a. They didn't say the word filler match, but this was like a match to fill time. We had Hologram and Top Flight versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Charlie Bravo, Sean Dean, and Lee Moriarty. Before the match can even start, we get music, and the next AEW Tag Team Champions are here.
Yeah, out come the Koopa Troopers.
I think they heard about how much people did not like the spikes on their jackets, so they got suit jackets made with the spikes on them now.
Wait, with the spikes. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna troll the shit out of you now.
You want to know that they're heels? The spikes. Once they take those spikes off and have normal jackets on, that's when they're baby faces. But until the spikes are gone, heels.
If you didn't know already.
If you didn't already know. So basically, this is like a restart for Crew and Top Flight. This is the first time we've seen Top Flight in a little while, also on AEW TV. They had a couple new things in here. They also had holograms, so that really helped them out. In my notes, I said this is actually going to sound really messed up. Hologram, the infantry, and Lee Moriarty shined in this match. So who did I leave out? I didn't even think about that until I read these notes. That's kind of messed up.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because after you're done, you're gonna hear my thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, I know, bro. I can tell you right now, we are probably on the same wavelength on that one for sure. Again, not to talk about the match too much. We got Hologram doing their thing. The infantry and Lee Moriarty looked fantastic, like they have every time they're on Collision now. Lio Rush and X Andretti were sitting outside. They were doing what they had to do. And the finish was Top Flight did like a John Woo dropkick into a belly to back suplex for the win on Charlie Bravo. And then Dante made sure to get the pin looking directly at the crew. So they were talking during this match. Also, funny enough, in the back, Harley Graham was watching the show. She was watching match. Beast Morto shows up and they like are longingly looking at each other. So what happened on Wednesday was not a fluke. I think we have a love story between the Beast Mortos and Harley Graham, which might be like one of the best love stories since Toni Storm Mariah May. So we'll see how that goes.
God.
But yeah, we got Top Flight winning. They got into they started jaw-jacking with Lio Rush and Action Andretti, and that's really it. Prophet, what are your thoughts?
All right. First off, as you said, the people you listed in your notes was the correct people. They did great. I don't get why the crew are going at Top Flight again. It makes no damn sense to me. Like, they already beat Top Flight. They're done. They should be going on for something else. They should be in a feud with somebody else. Not Top Flight again. I don't want to see that. I'm sorry. Like, Top Flight is at the bottom for me. Like, now. They need to work on something. They need to work on the rest of the package. Right? They're not complete. But instead of me going into the same rant I went into months ago, I'm just going to say Top Flight is the only one that felt out of place here. That's it.
Man,
that's all I'm gonna say.
I wholeheartedly agree. I could not have said it better than how you said it already. That's the truth. Yeah. Why are Lio Rush and Action Andretti going after Top Flight again? I feel like the only reason it's doing it is because that's with the crew, that's the most interesting Top Flight has been in a long time. So they're trying to like redo that and bring that back. for sure, Lio Rush and Action Andretti should be going up against other people. They had that great tag team match against Private Party, right?
Yeah,
So they're
yeah,
an established tag team. They could be doing anything else. But
yeah.
yeah, I fully agree.
They shouldn't be going against Top Flight. Look, go against the Lucha Stars. Have a little thing going on with them. Them series of matches would be awesome. Like something like that. It does not elevate them to go against Top Flight again.
No, it does not at all. But we'll see where this goes. I'm guessing this is just going to be a Collision story, which low key I guess I'm okay with because we get Lio Rush and Action Andretti on TV more. So we'll just see how this goes. I'm guessing we're going to be talking about this a lot.
Yeah.
Right after the match, we got a tease for the Lucha Stars versus LFI. We talked about them a little bit earlier. Hologram and Commander versus, I believe they said Dralistico and Beast Mortos. So we should be getting that, I believe, next Collision. So we'll see where that goes. From there, we get our only women's match of the night, which was Megan Bayne versus Thunder Rosa. I don't even want to call it a match, to be honest. I guess they kind of went back and forth a little bit. But before the last match that we talked about, Thunder Rosa had a little promo saying that she had her taped ribs. Alexi was asking the doctor what was going on. And then Thunder was like, no, don't ask the doctor. You're going to ask me if I'm going to wrestle, and I'm going to be out there because I need to show Megan Bayne I need to show her what respect means, and I need to beat some respect into her. Thunder Rosa did not beat any respect into Megan Bayne.
Not at all.
Not at all. Thunder Rosa probably should not have taken this match after having I'm gonna say 5 broken ribs. We don't know how many there were. Probably maybe 1, but she probably shouldn't even taken the match healthy, to be honest. Anytime Thunder Rosa tried to do anything, Megan Bayne immediately just attacked the ribs, immediately. Thunder Rosa got a couple chops in there, Megan Bayne hit her in the ribs. Thunder Rosa tried to get her into a superplex. Megan Bayne hits the ribs. Again, this is the entire match. Megan Bayne just took over, and then Megan Bayne hits that F5. I think it's called it's the face something. I forget what it's called. But it's the face something that she calls her F5 and beats Thunder Rosa. Right after the match, Megan Bayne is not done with Thunder Rosa. Picks her up and is about to beat her up. But then we get the music. Our AEW World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, comes out. The crowd goes nuts. Again, it did not matter. Toni did what she could, did her damnedest, but still got beat down by Megan Bayne. So at this point, it doesn't matter if Megan Bayne jumps you or if you attack her face to face. She's going to come out standing on top. And that's what she did. Oh, it's called the face descent. Her F5 is called the face descent.
Face descent. Okay.
But yeah, that Megan Bayne just completely took over. We saw Chris Statlander come out to help Thunder Rosa, and then we got confirmation a little bit later that we're gonna get once again Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander. Should be another fantastic match. Prophet, what are your thoughts, Prophet?
So yeah, this did a lot. So one of the things it just established was that compared to most of the other women, Megan Bayne is much different, right? Because normally, Toni Storm would go out there, she would fight, and she would kind of get the upper hand, and Megan Bayne's just a juggernaut, right? There's another person that calls herself the Juggernaut, but she's in WWE now, so we got a new. I'm gonna call Megan Bayne the Colossus, right? She is not going to fall down. She's going to go through you. She's going to mess you up. And anything Toni Storm tried to throw at her, Megan Bayne just shrugged off. She didn't care and just went right through her and did what she was going to do. So now you have this threat that's not only everywhere, but you can't hurt it, and it can hurt you. So it's going to be interesting to see how Toni Storm gets through this.
You know what? I'm going to sound really dumb right now. Megasis is Colossus and Megan Bayne. Megasis. Or I guess it's a Pegasus. Pegasus.
I thought it was Pegasus.
Pegasus and Meg. Colossus, Megan Bayne, don't change your name. Megasis.
Yeah, no, she's fighting the Megasis now. So, she's a different kind of monster, and unlike any of the other women in the women's division. So it's going to be interesting to see how Toni Storm gets through that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see, right? I do wholeheartedly believe that this is going to be that match, whenever it happens, is going to be Megan Bayne's first loss for sure. Like I feel that. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it happens and what happens with Megan Bayne after. Because I feel like already she's kind of established herself as like one of the biggest threats of the women's division until Athena shows up. And once we get Megan Bayne and Athena, I need that to happen. But yeah, man, we move on to our main event, which is a rematch. We have a tag match between FTR and Undisputed Kingdom. Garcia and Adam Cole did come out with them, and both of them are on commentary. And we might have to have like a little conversation about what's going on with Garcia and FTR after this. We might have to talk. There's been some rumbling, and I think that the rumbling might be right this time. FTR once again decided not to shake hands with Undisputed Kingdom before the match started, which is different. You know, a little different.
A
little different. We had a little bit of awkwardness at the beginning of this match. We got a point where Cash and I think it was Roddy. Yeah, Cash and Roddy were in, and there was like a lot of like little miscues, which were weird. Like Cash got like kneed in the face when Roddy tried to do the frog splash to jump over him. Not frog splash, but to jump over him. It looked like Cash hit Dax with Roddy when they went to tag. There was just a lot of little weirdness. Granted, after commercial break, this was not a thing anymore. They got it together. But all in all, this was a really good match. Very hard hitting, very much an FTR tag match, which FTR at this point is undefeated when they're making these tag matches. Like they know how to make great tag team matches.
Yeah,
and it worked here. We didn't have any like awkward restart in the match. FTR did just get the win. They hit the Shatter Machine. It took a lot. Like this was not an easy win for FTR, but they took it. So now officially, FTR and Undisputed Kingdom are 1-1. During the match, though, Garcia is talking mad shit to Adam Cole. Like a lot of shit. Like more than what he normally does. Like he's taking pot shot after pot shot again on Adam Cole every single time. Talking about like a lot of shit. Like it was different for him too. After the match, Adam Cole gets up and immediately runs into the ring to get Undisputed Kingdom. Garcia gets into the ring also. Garcia and Adam Cole shake hands. But FTR again does not shake hands with Undisputed Kingdom. And they walk off. And that's how we end Collision. Prophet, what are your thoughts?
So I think, like you were kind of hinting at in the beginning, FTR is doing that turn, right? They're doing that heel turn. That's what it feels like.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna be the serious FTR again, which is dangerous for everybody. But it's interesting, right? Because not only are they turning, but it seems like Adam Cole himself is also turning, right?
Possibility.
It's either he's turning or he's just more aggressive now. That's the main thing to take away from it, right? Is that Adam Cole is just way more aggressive than he used to be. But yeah, that commentary between him and Garcia, that shit was getting heated.
Yeah, it was, man.
They were getting heated, man. Yeah, man, I'm interested to see where this goes. Pretty excited to see, how they're going to spin this. Is the Undisputed Kingdom. So Adam Cole for sure is going for that TNT title, right? Adam Cole is more than likely winning the TNT title. I think that's the thing. They're trying to go out of their way now and say, oh, the TNT title is... They're trying to explain more that it's kind of been defended, but it's not. 4 defenses in however much time is just not a whole lot.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
What's up?
I have the amount of days that Daniel Garcia has been TNT champion. I just so happened to pull up. I don't know where this was, but it's been open since before we started recording. Daniel Garcia has been TNT champion right now for 109 days. At the time of our recording, on Sunday, March 16th, he has been TNT champion for 109 days.
109 days and only, 4 or 5 defenses?
I think 4. The triple threat, he had one against Lee last week, one against Shibata, and I think I'm missing one.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm not... Again, I'll just say I'm not a fan of his TNT title run. Some people are, interestingly enough, even though he hasn't defended it. So, like, there are really people trying to defend his title run, which the title run is bad. And even on TV, they were trying to make. Actually, Adam Cole, in a way, was almost went there with it by talking about how his current title reign.
Mm.
He almost said it wasn't great on commentary. He kind of held back with it.
I mean, for once, Adam Cole, that filthy liar, speaks the truth.
He wasn't being dickhead Adam Cole yet, so he was holding that in his back pocket.
Low-key, I hope we don't see it. If anyone turns, I think it should be Garcia. FCR, yeah. I feel like FCR's already kind of there. They're already on the path. Garcia was talking a lot of shit, so he might be on the path also, but at least he still has the common courtesy to shake Adam Cole's hand in the ring, right? FTR hasn't done it. FTR has been douchebags for like the last couple weeks to Undisputed Kingdom. So we'll see. It and FTR definitely works better as a heel unit, so we'll see if that happens. This should happen soon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they work better as a heel unit. Undisputed Kingdom, like, here's the funny thing with the Undisputed Kingdom is they work better as faces because of the fucking theme song. Everybody wants, like, the Adam Cole theme song. Yeah, get out of here. You can't be a heel with that theme song. I'm sorry. Because the whole theme song is crowd participation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a face thing. So, like, it's real hard to take you, like, as a heel when you're doing that. Right? I just assume, oh, you're a face, dude. That's the only way I'm going to see it.
I think it's gonna say a face too. Like, it's interesting because we don't really get to see Adam Cole be a face too often, right? Like, he's 9 times out of 10, he's always a heel when he's on like NXT, WWE, AEW. More than likely going to be a heel. So I like that they're gonna hopefully just keep this face run going because everyone, all of us included, we're like, you know, him and Undisputed, they've been acting real weird together. Roddy's been looking at him a little bit weird and stuff like that. I think I think all of us, I hope all of us were just projecting. That would be great if we were just projecting. He's just a face and he just gets to be with Undisputed Kingdom for a while. Like, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. Like, but wait, I'm actually. Here's the other part of Undisputed Kingdom. They should just call themselves the Undisputed because the Kingdom part isn't there.
They might not be able to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Undisputed Era. So they might not be able to.
Well, no, that's Era. They just can call themselves the Undisputed.
I mean, the shirt just says Undisputed. So.
Right. You know, instead of calling themselves the Undisputed Kingdom because Kingdom isn't there.
I miss Taven and Bennett. And I never thought I would say I would miss Matt Taven. But hopefully they're doing all right. I would love this. I know weren't they just wrestling at MLP, or am I thinking of another team?
No, they were there.
Okay, they were there. Okay, yeah. So they are wrestling. They're just not. Undisputed is on TV every week, but they're not. So that's kind of sad. But also, it sucks that, you know, the tag team of Undisputed Kingdom is not the tag team anymore. We have granted the other really good tag team, but, you know, not the ones that have been teaming together for like 15 years.
Well, the funny thing about it is the Undisputed gets back together. Kyle O'Reilly is back, right?
And
then Old Man Father Time is wrestling somewhere instead of being on TV with Red Dragon, now on TV every week as Red Dragon again.
He shouldn't have fucked up, man. He should have talked crazy.
Yeah. Well, him and Roddy can get the job done just fine, and they have the same finishing move, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. It's literally just, look, this is just another version of Red Dragon.
It's another version.
Except Roddy is the better version of Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Old Man Father Time decided to be old and talk shit without a goddamn filter.
He went senile. Like, he went crazy.
But where's the lie? God damn you.
God,
you could have been on TV.
I've never, that arena was so quiet.
They were so quiet.
You could literally hear a pin drop when he said that. But where's the lie? And it just...
Everybody's like, oh.
Nothing.
He was only there for like 3 weeks and he left. He was gone.
I think he's in I think it's with Bischoff now.
But MLW?
I think so.
Well, Bischoff is showed up in what? Uh, on that new show in WWE that's on Tubi, talking about he wants to make another great faction. It's like you never made a great faction. You just had people that were already popular.
Yeah, you had WWF defactors who left, and they all were in a group together. That happened, and they became one of the most famous and most influential groups in wrestling. You did not do that.
Yeah, you didn't do that. You didn't make Hall, Nash, and piece of shit as the NWO.
No. You actually made it worse by adding 15 people to the group and then
Yeah,
trying to split off into the Wolfpack. Wolfpack's thing was dope, but like
yeah,
you
come
made
on.
it, you messed it up by trying to put the entire WCW roster in the NWO.
Yeah. Well, actually, Wolfpack was the better half.
Yeah, I told you, like Wolfpack's thing was dope. Like they had, it was great. But yeah, man, it's just yeah, we have we're gonna see what happens when it comes to Garcia and Adam Cole. We're gonna see where this goes. We have some interesting stuff going on. Collision, in my opinion, definitely was like the better show this week. What are your thoughts on Collision as a whole?
Collision as a whole was fun, man. I enjoyed it a lot. But again, they were carrying over those story beats, and then we got Megan Bayne everywhere. If she finds you, you're in the women's division, and she finds you, you might as well be as good as dead. She's everywhere. You like think about her name, she's gonna be there, and then she's gonna like murder you right there. So yeah, I thought and then both shows as a whole, I thought they were really good shows. There was a lot of segments between those shows. Like it was way more than normal, right? Than a normal AEW Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was a bad thing or anything like that. There's a lot of storytelling to tell within 2.5 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks to tell it. So they got to get those matches set up. They got to get everything set up real quick. So it's pay-per-view season, so everything moves fast.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be heavy-handed with the segments now for the next few weeks, which, to each their own. As much as I'm not like a big fan of that, you got to do what you can to tell these stories, right?
Yeah.
If you tell them the obvious way so people know that they're happening, it works. All right, man. You have any other thoughts?
No, man. That's it.
You know what time it is.
All right. All right, guys. So once again, you made it. You made it to the end. So for that, thank you very much. If you haven't already, now that you heard the show, come on, hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell button so you get all of our content whenever it comes out. Remember, guys, you don't just get one podcast, which is this one awesome podcast every week. You get up to 3. You'll get this one, Off the Top Rope, where we talk about pro wrestling, and we're going to be expanding out to New Japan pretty soon. It's going to be AEW New Japan talk. You'll get the Command Grab, where we talk about games, and you'll get the OVA, where we talk about anime, and we're going to be talking about that Sung Jin Woo business soon.
Oh man, yeah, we will. That damn cliffhanger, bro.
They're the king of cliffhangers.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God, it kills me every time. But you're gonna hear that in a lot more after you subscribe and hit that bell button, so you get all that content whenever it comes out. And if you like this episode, tap that like button. It helps us out. It helps that algorithm tell people just like you that they like this kind of content. So tap that like button. And also, I already know I said some stuff that probably tick you off. Or if I haven't and you agree, comment. Ain't gonna hurt you. And of course, we always comment back whenever we can. And yeah, let's get a conversation going. Let's get a community going. So thank you once again. And with that, we're out.
Peace.